Steve?
Maybe one day we'll explain the sliding in.
Nah, you just keep the
Just keep
secret.
it a mystery.
Yeah.
Not sure if I'm feeling too comfy just yet, but I'm sure we'll get into it.
I get slowly getting a bit of an itch in the lower back from the material from the inside. But it feels nice.
Mr. Fry.
Stephen Fry?
Fry. How are you, fella?
Very good, thank you,
I've
sir.
just realised I wrote podcast 0.35, but this is last week's. We're on 004.5.
We made it to 4.
We made it 4.5.
4.5. Imagine what 10.5 is going to be like.
As we said, road to 10, road to 100, road to $1 million. All right, Di, you are in the hot seat
I
today.
am. Big round this week. Quick fire round. Sharpish.
Mam is listening to the podcast, so hello, Mam.
Hi, ma'am.
She told me that she listened to your Jonathan Edwards
Yes?
comment, and she said, I agree with him.
Did she say that?
So yeah, Mam, yeah. And then she said, what else? She knew.
I knew
something
Mam would be
She
proud
knew
of
you'd
that,
picked
though.
James Bond, and I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah, I thought she'd know I picked James Bond.
Anyway, Mam agrees with
Jonathan
Jonathan
Edwards.
Edwards, apparently.
He is a star.
Sports star.
To be
Proper
fair,
sports star.
a lot of the boys have messaged me.
Have they?
And it's just been laughing faces going, fucking Jonathan Edwards.
Yeah.
Like, on earth who picked him. Shout out to Barry Gwynn. He was like, Jonathan Edwards die.
I still haven't
I was
quite got over it.
Yeah, I was torn between that and Cuthbert. So,
What have you got in store?
we're in the
Nice
hot
di-
seat this week.
Nice diary, man.
Thank you, sir. Kmart in New Zealand.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's come a long way.
They had some banging diaries. Like, I feel it's like almost Moleskine-esque.
Yeah, it does look fancy. I
Yeah,
wasn't
Barney
kidding.
Swanson would be picking his Lion squad out of this bad boy. Nice.
I'm ready,
So
boss.
I've gone for you have options rather than like who your favourite.
Yeah.
So how you feeling? Nervous?
No, not nervous, excited.
Nervous energy. Quick fire. Choco cheese.
Cheese. Oh. Yeah, cheese.
Kebab or Chinese?
Chinese. I'm not a kebab fan. I'll eat them, but
After a night out?
still, not really.
Okay, I'm kebab. Mouthguard or gum shield?
You're picking kebab over Chinese?
When I'm drunk, yeah.
Right.
Mouth gum. Mouthguard or gum shield?
Mouth guard or mouth gum? I think I now say mouth guard, but I definitely did say gum shield, being Welsh.
Unless you're Barry Gwynn and who has like tough shield, covers 3 teeth. Vans or Stussy?
I believe it's actually pronounced Stussy. I think Amelia corrected me on that before she kicks off with our pronunciation. Vans for shoes, Stussy for clothes. Is that loud?
No. You've got to pick.
I'd probably pick Vans.
I'm afraid. Do you prefer picking watermelons or lychees?
I'm like, where's he going with this? Lychees for sure.
Me and Ben, a couple of the others used to pick fruit in Australia. Sandstorm or Zombie Nation?
Sandstorm. Took a while.
Okay.
It took a while.
I'm Zombie Nation.
I was picking them in my head, playing them in my head.
Aladdin or Jungle Book?
Well, the story goes from Susie that Aladdin was
your
my
favourite?
favourite film, but I don't remember that, so I'm picking Jungle Book.
See what Sue thinks of that. Boddingtons or John Smith's? Because if you take 8, you're drinking 8.
I'm gonna pick Boddingtons. Like it, very good. Lot of in jokes there. Liked it.
Yeah, I thought, you know what, there's a couple of things here that we've...
We could unpack a few things.
So, sorry, you preferred picking lychees?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, to be fair, lychees was a much nicer gig. Unless the bag got a lot bigger.
Yeah. Will we start with farm work?
I think farm work, because that's what I was thinking about. I was like, I'll answer this question and then we can go into whole farm work.
So I moved to Australia a little bit before Jack, and then Jack joined.
February, and then I was September.
That's it. I moved in the February. Jack joined in the September, and I needed to go do my farm work to stay for my second rugby season, and convinced the boys / they didn't really know what else to do at the time.
Kind of just fell into it anyway.
Yeah, so there was 5 of us that went to do our farm work. 2 Jacks, 2 Barrys,
And a Ben.
and 1 Ben, and we formed the Welsh pack the
Yeah, it was
notorious.
the Welsh pack, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like the Rat Pack.
There was some other Welsh boys associated in and around Australia, but we were a force to be reckoned with on the farms.
Yeah.
I was 24. Yeah, I was
Yes, you were
24, and you
24
guys were
or
like
20.
20, 21. And it was chaos and so much banter. We went to a farm. It was we went to a hostel, and they're supposed to give
and
you
then,
farm work.
I was going to say they supplied the work, and then you could just
Yeah.
go wherever you could pick it up.
We could write a whole chapter on this hostel, right? The hostel was, quite frankly, fucking disgusting.
It had bed bugs.
It had bed bug. It was ridden
With remember that
with bed bugs.
So remember, whoever was first down. So say if you had work, because we'd get up at like 4:30. You'd have to get up super early. And remember,
oh my god!
know exactly.
My skin is crawling.
And know it.
Oh, I feel sick.
And me, I got goosebumps. Whoever was first downstairs, you'd open the kitchen of the hostel, and before you turn the light off, you'd see the floor move. And know what I?
No, you turn the light on. You mean?
No, but before it, you'd see like the flicker, and then you turn the light on, and there is cockroaches, insects, bed bugs everywhere, and I mean flooded in this kitchen. And then by the time people had got back in, they'd hidden back in the cracks in the walls and everything, didn't they? It was pretty grim, wasn't it?
It was fucking disgusting.
And you couldn't leave your food anywhere.
Oh god! And then well, that's the hostel. So you pay an extortionate amount of rent to live in a shit bed with other people full of bed bugs. And then they're supposed to get you work. We really struggled to get work because of the time of year.
Well, we had a little bit. I know Barry Gwynn had sweet potatoes. Moz had the tomatoes for most of it, and then me and you and Barry Matthews had the pineapples.
Yeah.
And I never did the tomatoes, so I'm not. I knew it was pretty grim. But the pineapples, I didn't know, but pineapples grew from like a bush, and they have real sharp bushes, didn't they?
Leaves. Yeah.
Leaves, that was it. And it'd be like
stalks
34 degrees, and you'd have to wear like full length, like jumpers.
Just because you mic there. There we go.
Jumpers and trousers, because you just get cut and scrammed all over, and it'd be 34 degrees, and it is pretty grim, wasn't it?
It was fucking disgusting.
And so I never knew, but pineapples had about different, like they could have 6 heads on it, even 10, and you'd all be in a different aisle, and you'd have to pick up a pineapple, and if it had 1 or 2 heads, you could put it on this big boon. It was like this conveyor belt that would lead onto the tractor. And if you had a pineapple with 3 or more heads, you had to hit the head off on the boon and then put it on. But every time you'd see like 5 or 6 with like 5 or 6 heads, and we'd call them Hey Arnold.
But I'm gonna have to try and put some photos on the screen for people to understand what
They're actually
pineapples
mental
look
what
like.
they look like.
Yeah, you see pineapples in a supermarket, and only a fraction of them actually look like that on the farm.
And I always remember when what was Tony's son's name now? The nuts one.
His name was Dickhead.
Yeah. I always remember when Tony was driving the tractor, and he was like, "Fucking stop the tractor, mate." And we were all like, "Oh fuck, Dom." That was his name.
How did you pull
Dom,
that out?
Fucking Dom. And
I don't know how you pulled that out.
I remember we were all like sweating buckets, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, we've just finished Smoko. It's like hour into the last batch or the last slog, and he fucking throws a pineapple at your head. You've got a pretty long fuse, but that's the one time I've seen you go, I'm gonna fucking kill him. And he had a machete, and I was like, it's probably not the best thing to do. But in all fairness, he launched that pineapple from quite far away, and to hit you in the head was pretty impressive.
What?
Like, he had some fucking skills. You fucking can't even see the pineapples, mate.
Yeah, I can't remember what his line was. It was something like that. Or it was like, you fucking missed one, mate, or something like that. For context for everyone, we're walking along in the rows, like Jack said. This guy's jumped off the back of the tractor, seen one tiny little fucking pineapple that I've missed. And yeah, he's behind me. I didn't know he's behind me, and he just fucking throws this pineapple, hits me in the head with it. And I'm like, I can't just throw a pineapple in my head. Sorry, man, for saying that word. I turned around and he's there, and blood was boiling, and he's got a machete in his hand.
Wasn't the best idea, was it?
Oh God, it's funny.
It's a pretty tough gig, though. Like, I think it was up there with probably the best time of our trip, really. Like for me, I know you have different parts, but me, Barry,
That's right for you.
Jack, me and Jack, it was like the best part because you literally that was kind of the goal, was to get done for the 88 days. So then we'd finish and then we just kind of party with everyone else who was in the same position. And then remember when we did the beer pong tournament, and then everyone had to create their own jersey, and then we all had to do like a beer pong tournament. We had like the national anthems, and then I remember everyone was like calling us sheep shaggers as if we'd be like embarrassed, and we'd all be like, "You eat them, we shag them. You eat them, we shag 'em." And I remember everyone just going, "Oh, they actually like it. Like they like being called sheep shaggers."
It was so funny.
Oh,
But
fluffy sheep. Yeah, we just had so many different songs.
it was definitely one of the best, periods of my life for sure as well. Like,
And when we met Jamie, who we did pick melons for, like his family and how much he looked after us. And I always remember when I think we'd be working for Jamie and Hanson Melons for about 3 weeks, and you'd have smoko, so you'd have the first 3 hours of the shift, and then you'd have a break for like 20 minutes called smoko. And I remember 3 weeks in, they were like, "Are you speaking Welsh?" And we were like, "No," and they're like, "That ain't fucking English."
yeah,
But obviously, there's 5 of us who grew up with each other, so we're just kind of using slang or cutting everything down, abbreviating everything. And then Jamie started calling us the Pikeys off Snatch.
oh yeah, that's right. He was a legend.
What was he like? He was huge, wasn't he?
He was a beast.
Like 6'8".
Man, it was so fun. I mean, even that, I would argue that Jamie was such a good farmer, and when we went in with him, it also got a little bit.
Spoilt.
We got spoiled, and like the amount of stories we had from that first hostel is just outrageous.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, I've got so many different fucking funny stories from actually picking fucking fruit as well.
Yeah.
Like picking the tomatoes is probably one of the best ones. Well, was I covering Moz or was I covering someone? No, did I go with Moz?
You went with Moz.
I went with Moz.
I think. No, I actually think they needed someone else, Di.
Was I on my own?
No, you were with the boys. Because I
Yeah.
remember Barry Matthews would constantly, because he watched it. Or he seen it.
Oh, yeah, he did.
And
He did.
And I remember him coming back to the hostel
That's
and
right.
just crying.
So it was my first day. They were cherry tomatoes, picking cherry tomatoes, and they grow on vines, and these. You go along and you've got to select which ones to pick, and the chat is if the cherry tomato has turned from green and it's even just got a patch of orange, it'll ripen up if you pick it. But if it's still completely green, do not pick it because it won't ripen.
Oh, is that it?
That's the chat. That's what we were being told. So I'm obviously a pretty tall guy. They've got me on this row where only the tomatoes on the bottom of the vine are ready to pick.
By your shins.
So I am
First day,
absolutely battling down there. You can't go on your knees because it's the rows are stone, like
they?
pebble-ish. Anyway, it's not bloody grass, I'll tell you that. So I'm like battling away, and then the guy's like onto me all the time. He's like, "You gotta go faster, you gotta go faster." I'm like, I'm genuinely trying my best here. And then there's this. Only thing I remember about him was he was German. We were with the Germans on it was like me, Barry, or whatever, and there's a pile of Germans.
Oh, the in the hostel.
Yeah, but particularly on this day, it was like us and the Germans.
Yeah, because they always packed the fruit, didn't they?
And the one German guy was like, "Mate, just fucking, what you got to do at the bottom of the bucket is you just fucking pick the green ones, and then you've got your bucket going, and then it looks like you're going, and then he's like, when you take your bucket to the van then, and they empty it, they don't know whose bucket it is, so they can't tell you off." And I was like, class. So I'm now fucking flying along, getting all these green tomatoes in to buffer the bottom of the bucket to try and keep up. And I can't remember if the guy came round and was like, well done, you're keeping up or whatever. But I was keeping up now. So what you have to do is you pick the cherry tomato and then there's got a tiny little stalk on the top, and you use your thumb
Pick it off.
to nudge it off. So doing that all along. The buckets are massive, and they're probably like, I don't know, 10 to 12, 15 kilos, big buckets. So you take it back with the handle to the back of the truck, you put it on the back of the truck, take an empty one, and off you go again. And I had one fucking cherry tomato with a stalk on the top. This bucket's huge, and there's one cherry tomato. Of all the tomatoes you can see, there's one with a stalk on there. And he's gone, oh mate, we better check your bucket. There's a stalk on that one. So then he goes and gets another bucket and empties my cherry tomatoes into the empty bucket. And it's like red, orange, 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 red, 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 orange, orange. And then the fucking bottom third is green, 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 green. And I'm just there, like my heart rate's gone through the roof. And he's like, mate, there's a lot of fucking green in here. And he's like, going on, he's like, mate, it's full of green. It's fucking full of green. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So old boy is pissed off at me. So that's the morning. So you pack in the you pick in the morning, pack after lunch or smoko. So then afterwards, you then clean the tomatoes, weigh them, put them in the punnets, and then they go on to these fucking pallet things. Now I'd become such a liability, not through, I wasn't trying to be a bad worker. Anyway, I wasn't allowed to touch the fucking punnets. I was on carrying duty and carrying duty only. So you put them into the punnets go into the tray goes onto the pallet, ready to go and obviously be sold. And I'm like, I can't be asked carrying. These trays are not that heavy. And I can't be asked to carry one. So I've decided to carry 3 of these trays. Again, not heavy, but awkward. And I fucking go into the fridge, huge fridge, like it's a room that's a fridge. And I fucking trip over the forklift. And I drop every fucking tray. And there's fucking tomatoes everywhere. The punnets haven't even got lids on them. They don't put lids on them because I guess they go to, I don't know, they go, wherever they go, they haven't got lids on. They just go off. There's fucking tomatoes everywhere that everyone spent weighing, cleaning, packaging. And the guy's heard the commotion. And he comes in and he looks at me and he sort of like doesn't even like say anything. Sort of turns around and just shouts over. And he's like, "Well, someone go help that prick in there." Oh, fucking hell.
I remember Barry coming back and like you were like, fucking had a day today.
Yeah. Back on the bus then. Back to the... fucking remember it so clearly. Back on the bus, back to the hostel or whatever.
Eugene.
Nah, was it Eugene?
That's what the hostel's guy name was. Because remember there was a Facebook group called Fuck Eugene.
But this was when we were in Jamie's farm butt.
Oh, but the
Tomatoes was Jamie's farm butt. Yeah. And I'm fucking sure it was. Because in my head, I get off the fucking bus. This does happen. I'm pretty sure it's for this farm. And the guy, was it Rod? The other guy?
Like the fishing pole?
Yeah. He was like that. Oh, you won't be going back to the tomato farm. Between us leaving the farm and getting back to the hostel, they'd already called him saying, "We don't want Ben back." And that was my only day on the tomato farm.
Oh. To be fair, that, like, when we got to Rod's place, things started turning for the better then, didn't they?
Yeah. But that's what I mean, like, then we were kind of spoilt and we were just, like, having a good time. But, like, all the banter and all the stories are from the Chaos Hostel.
And I remember we had the makeshift weights, didn't we? The trolley sessions.
Yeah.
So there was like no gym near us or anything, but then Rod, the owner of the new hostel we were staying at, was like, "Oh, we've got a trolley full of weights," and he did. He had a trolley full of random like bits of plates and bars and like clips.
We'd go down there pretty much every day.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then there'd just be kangaroos everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember like pinching myself, being like, "I can't believe we're here." I remember just being like, I actually can't believe that there's a kangaroo over there and we're doing like lunges.
It was funny, but we had such a good time.
And then remember the size of the ants by the pool?
Yeah.
I remember being like, I am not sunbathing beer. Like I'd go in the pool, but then I'd just constantly be like, the ants were so big. And like, if one of them nipped you, you'd be like, fuck. Like it was...
Bombers, man.
yeah, bull ants or something. Yeah.
Very good.
Good bit of character building, wasn't it?
That was. Do you know what? I've
It
thought.
built character.
I remember. Sounds funny right now. I remember. I can't remember what I'd seen at the time, but when we picked pineapples, that was some of the hardest work, the hardest graft I've ever done in my life, hands down.
Yeah.
It was brutal, and it was non-stop. Your back was absolutely cooked from bending over and keeping up.
Well, the pressure as well, because the boom wouldn't
The
stop.
pace,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
pace
yeah.
was relentless. And I remember, like, like give yourself self-talk. I can remember it, but I can't remember where it came from. I remember being like, The Rock. I'd read something about The Rock, like having like, doing like hard labor or stuff like that. And I was like, The Rock's been through this. The Rock's been through this. I can still remember it. Trying to like just man up and do this pineapple work and just like
Get on with it. Like,
try and
it's mad
be
when your mind
resilient
would
to it.
wander as well, because you'd obviously be on that. I think you'd kind of get into it, and then when you'd have that brief 10, 15 minutes of you were in the moment, my mind would wander off.
Yeah.
Like you kind of be looking, but for some reason I just remember thinking about like Jay-Z, because we were listening to like all the hip hop. It was like ASAP, and I just remember thinking about like their careers, like during the hitting the pineapples. I'm like, fuck, my mind is wandering here. But it was good in a way, because then you'd forget for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes what you're doing, and then you're like, oh, fucking hell, I got to remember this. But yeah, you kind of just wander off.
I also, on your point, when we went to the lychee farm, I remember
Listening to
Lone Survivor, yeah, the book about the 4 gentlemen in Afghanistan, and I cried on the farm
I
listening
remember
to
that,
it.
yeah.
I couldn't believe how powerful the book was.
Sorry, I'm not...
Cheers, man.
Sorry. Shout out to Barry Gwyn. And there was these, remember the guys who spoke French? They weren't French, they were from a different country, but they spoke French.
Okay.
Can you remember them when we were in, we used to pick lychees with them, and they were just the French dudes?
I don't remember that.
Oh, fuck, I can't remember where they're from. They weren't Cameroon. They were from some sort of country, though, that they spoke French, but they were, I can't remember. But I remember Barry, like, getting frustrated with them because they wouldn't go to the top of the tree. Can you remember? And because you'd pick the bottom ones, because they were easy.
Yeah.
But then, not Jamie, what was the other guy's name? The South African dude?
Yeah, I have to come back to
But
me.
you'd have to go up into the trees. And I remember the French dudes were like, I know, they couldn't speak English. You'd kind of nod at each other. And I remember Barry shouting at one of them going, you're supposed to go up the fucking top of the trees. And the French dude's like, yeah. Like, thumbs up. Understand the thing. And Barry's like, fuck's sake, man. I'm fucking always up in these trees. But the French dudes didn't have a clue.
I can't remember them.
Yeah, remember we played football against them?
But I swear to God, I've killed too many brain cells.
Oh, that football match was class. It's just like us against the French dudes.
How can I not remember that?
It was. I think Barry like took one of out, because obviously Barry.
Wait, is this when you fucked your knee?
No, that was when we were in Eugene's thing, hostel. But I remember we played it, because remember in Childers we had that back, like where you go down by the trolley, you'd have that open grass.
Yeah.
Because we ended up playing football there.
Still can't remember playing football.
But Barry was just such a bit like just a tank, and he was just like hitting all these French dudes over, and they were like, and he's like, what? And obviously football's not rugby. I can't believe you remember.
Yeah. What have I done to my brain?
Yeah. It's such a mad trip, actually. But yeah, farm work is up there, one of the best times of my life. Yeah. No bed bugs again, though.
Nah.
Yeah, so I actually did some research.
Right.
So after the quick fire last week, I just wanted to make sure that I got my details right.
Oh, Jonathan Edwards.
Jonathan Edwards, it wasn't 1825 or 26, it was 1829.
Oh, okay.
Hey, sorry I undercut you there, John. Bill Russell, 11 rings. So I said 11 or 13. Played between 1956 and 1969.
Well,
He wasn't top point scorer though. So Wilt Chamberlain had 31,000. Then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jabbar, he had 38,000.
it's Jabbar, right?
Jabbar, yeah.
Yeah.
But I did some stats because Michael Jordan actually had 32,000 points, but only played something like 4,000 minutes. Whereas Kareem, who had 38,000 points, played like 5,200 minutes. But I think it's LeBron, Kareem, Karl Malone, and then might be like Kobe, I think, MJ, and then Wilt. But yeah, if MJ kept playing, like fuck, he would have skyrocketed 4,000 points and 4,000 minutes and scored 32,000 points.
He did enough to cement, but
Yeah, of course. So that's why I went back to correct then.
NBA Jack, is it?
It is. I actually do enjoy the NBA now. I've been watching a fair bit more.
Have you got a team?
Miami Heat, just because it was the first vest I ever bought.
Got it.
Don't know.
Wow. First NBA vest. That's a ropey vest over the years.
So I had some good wife beaters on Salou holiday when I was like 9 or 10. Remember the snapbacks you used to wear?
You don't got the wrong guy, but
Listening to Bobby Valentino,
no, you got the wrong guy, man. Wasn't me.
Ralph Lauren. Oh, class.
Rightio. First question from me. How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant?
We're talking a couple of chickens, yeah? Full elephant?
Is it possible?
Yeah, 100%. Well, so obviously you can't force a chicken to kill an elephant, but if you manage to get the chickens to be a bit pissed off with that elephant, I reckon they'd kill him.
Hacking down. Go on then, how many?
Full-grown elephant.
Yeah, we're talking a daddy elephant now.
Okay, Papa elephant.
We're talking a big African elephant.
Prime as well, in his good years.
Yeah, he's still shagging.
Leader of the pack. $100 chickens.
100?
100 chickens, a lot of chickens. Like, imagine 100 chickens coming at you now.
I ain't an elephant, but
I know, but still, they've only got the one trunk and like 4 feet. Do you know what I mean? Imagine putting 100 chickens in here now.
right. Okay.
I just didn't want to say 1,000 because I think, like, the more like it's overkill 1,000.
But okay, so then I'd argue this: if the chickens are trying to kill the elephant's going to fight back.
Yeah, of course.
I don't reckon 100's enough. I reckon he could stamp on them pretty quickly. Like a lot of them. Like if you said 250.
No, I reckon 100 will do a job.
100 chickens. I reckon he's just booting them, but
True, but like he's not going to kill him with every kick, is he? And then they're just going to fuck it. Because if he's like this, hitting one, there's still another 99 coming out his
98.
other legs. Like, I reckon 100 will do the job. What you say? What, you reckon 250? Because obviously, I think 250 kill him as well. But
I don't think he's getting past.
yeah, but I think 100, he's struggling. What do you reckon?
Nah, I'm going 250, but
250?
250 chickens.
Okay. How do we prove it?
Well, maybe it was the internet's such a funny place now. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of like online generator where some.
Well, I remember there used to be a joke. How many PJs would it take to kill a hammer? Remember? Because I think, because it was, would 100 ducks, sorry, what was it? Like 100 horses versus 100 ducks or something?
I mean, there's so many.
Would you rather face 100 ducks or duck-sized horse or something like that? And that's where the PJ thing comes. Never mind.
Yeah. There we go. All right.
Next one.
That was the only banter question I had.
Oh, okay.
What is the fresh alternative?
I have no idea at the moment. Fresh alternative way to look at life?
Yeah, I don't know. We not like we've built an answer. That's my question. If someone said to you, what is it though, what would you say?
Yeah, kind of like that. Like obviously take life serious, but not like have a laugh while doing it. If you know what I mean. Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know either. What are we talking about? I guess that's one part we're trying to. I think also just offer an alternative
Views,
view on a few things,
and also a different way to look at
particularly when it comes to
life.
social norms.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you do a podcast wearing a French fry outfit?
Well, why not?
Exactly. As well as just fucking having a bit of fun as well.
And then the one thing I did want to bring up as well, because when we were talking about like records and like legends like we have in basketball, was when we were talking about Vernon from Nelson Rugby
Yeah.
Club. And Ben's local team, Nelson Rugby Club, is a hero there or legend, Vernon. And he managed to play 500 games for Nelson Rugby Club, senior men's, 500 caps. And I don't know many people who've ever had 500 caps.
I mean, if you,
for a rugby team.
No, I don't-
I think there's some that's done it, but
there can't be many people in
I
the
can't
world.
think there's many people who
Not senior rugby.
not senior rugby.
It's actually
And
wild.
I know no one thought Kareem's record would be beaten, and obviously LeBron came, but I can't see anyone ever beating Vernon's record for Nelson, playing 500 games, having 500 caps.
It's actually so mad.
It's a mad stat. Like considering, and especially nowadays where like rugby's getting more, blokes are getting stronger, faster, fitter. Like, and I know you can last a little bit longer with recovery and the more knowledge and science we have around it. But local level, 500 games, it's actually pretty nuts.
But if you make
And
it
Nelson's
to
a pretty good
100,
league as well.
if you make it to 100, that's class for any club.
100%.
If you get to 200, you're like, fucking, that's unbelievable. And you go to 500.
Yeah, 500's not even, like 300's nuts.
Yeah.
But then you've gone 200 more.
Fair play to him.
Unfortunately, Vernon's no longer with us, but yeah, he was just like different kettle of fish of a bloke. And I remember watching him. I think I watched his last game, and he was on fire. Like for how old? Because how old was he when his last game? He was like
Close to 50.
close
man.
to 50,
If
wasn't he?
not 50.
And I think he was playing scrum half.
He was, but
Like, he was bucking around that pitch. He was, and I think when you get to your last game, you might be like even more jacked up. But I just remember being like, this fucking
talk
bloke's
about built
50, like.
different.
Yeah, he really was, wasn't he? Cracking laugh as well, wasn't he?
He was a brilliant, but
Yeah.
he was brilliant. All right, next question. What is a belief you have of yourself that you'd like to get rid of?
It sounds mad, but I think we've both struggled with it. Sometimes I don't feel big enough, which is mad. But you feel,
I'm trying to pull this down.
yeah, like I think as going to the gym as much as we have over our life, and I think all the cartoons I watched is like these huge men, like Dragon Ball Z, for instance. These dudes are jacked. Wrestling, films, like you always see these men that look actually nuts, and then you kind of see yourself sometimes, and you're like, "Am I fucking big?" Like, do you know what I mean? It's like a weird feeling of like, am I like, would I class myself as a big dude? And I don't know why, but you can be in good nick, and I know dudes who are like, oh, am I big enough? But it's a weird feeling that I feel I've slowly got over, or get over, but it's a belief that I'm not big enough, if you know what I mean. And even in everyday life, it's like, for rugby, it's like, oh, am I big enough? Or like, am I big enough to pull off this shirt? Stuff like that. That's the one belief. But I think I'm slowly chipping away, because I'm like, how big do I need to be? Like with this, that, and the other. But that's one belief that, is that a belief, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that one, if I'm honest. But I think a lot of men struggle with it. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of men in our demographic, perhaps. I don't know if there's a lot of men as a broad spectrum, but like if you're a rugby player and the culture is to be big.
Yeah, I don't think it is much anymore, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing.
I think that's a big part of where those beliefs come from, though. I don't think there's. I don't know. I'd be surprised if we just look at men. Every man wants to.
Of course, yeah.
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean.
But like you said, all the things I watched, the dudes are all fucking
Yeah, and I guess that there were their influences as well.
yeah, and you want to like, oh, I fucking jacked enough or whatever. Yeah.
Anything else?
No, video was like the first thing that popped in my head, if I'm honest. Yeah. What about you?
I think I definitely struggled with that as well. I mean, I ate a loaf of bread a day for like 6 to 12 months when I was 15 to put on weight. And by loaf of bread a day, I'm talking loaf of bread in between meals. Like, that's fucking extreme dieting. Because I remember how skinny I was, and I could not, but I was actually fucking skinny as hell. As opposed to like having a level of body dysmorphia. And I hated it. I hated looking in the mirror.
Same.
Like, so bad. I actually can remember one vivid moment Mum used to take us to, Mum, I'm going to tell you now, we did not enjoy going to Marks and Spencer's on a Sunday. Tell me now.
I used to genuinely be like sick. Like,
Oh, you can't say that.
no, but like I just be like so sad. I'd be like,
oh, we're not going to Marks and Spencer's.
I'd be like,
again,
oh. But as a kid, you just wanted to like, you wanted to run around.
Watch them go to Marks and Spencer's.
And one thing I knew is that obviously, like as parents, you wander around, which is fine. Like Carol and I did it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut. And like I remember we'd walk around, and Mum would just be wandering down the aisles. And as a kid, I'd be like, what else do we need to look at? And then I'd go sit with Dad, and then Dad, someone would ring him, and you know what he's like on the phone. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. And I'd be like, oh, why is he talking so loud? And I'd get embarrassed. And then I'm wandering around Marks and Spencer, and I'm like, sorry, I literally remember it so vividly, Di. Sorry.
I mean, I remember all of that as well. No, I remember looking in the mirror in Marks and Spencer's, and I could see my shoulder. Don't know what you call it. It's like my AC joint.
Oh yeah. I know exactly what you're about.
But I could see them like pointing through my t-shirt, and I was like, I am so fucking skinny, and I hate myself. I hated how skinny I was.
Yeah.
I definitely don't feel like that anymore. But it took a long
Yeah, you feel like that
took a
anymore,
long
Di.
time to get over it, to be honest, and a lot of well, I'm not sure if it was necessarily all good effort in the gym, but I was trying to do something about it.
Did something about it.
I was trying to do something about it, yeah. I did. When I was fucking 18, I was like, I was up at like 96, 97 kilos, and I was 18, 19. Yeah.
Going for bed with us.
Anyway, do I have any others? No, but I think I like to put myself in positions where I'm pushed, challenging myself.
Uncomfortable.
Really excited to start this nightclub residency. Working super hard, literally every day, DJing right now. And I'm confident in my ability, but like some of the people that also play at the club and will be playing at the club, like really established DJs in the city. And then you're like, well, where do I fit into that?
Osmosis.
Yeah. But you're like, I'm the new boy, and I'm like the up and coming one, and so I'm just like I'm chipping away, working at it, so I feel confident in my ability rather than I want to belong there. Do you know what I mean? So I have those. That's something I'm feeling right now.
Is belief in your ability to be with these people.
Well, yeah, like I guess the limiting belief is like whether you're good enough, and that could be in.
Can I hang with these guys and do a good job on the decks?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Which is, and I the answer is yes, but I'm working away at my craft every day, being the new person, and
When I first started an athletic club, I felt exactly the same.
Yeah.
like because you got like Rian and James, like everyone, like they're all smart in the gym, but like Rian and James are so like they've got multiple degrees, this that, and they're still studying, like they're so knowledgeable. And I was like, I haven't got a clue compared to these people, and like, and then you look at like Ivan and Fike and Lex and like these absolute monsters who are in unbelievable shape and like strong. And I remember being like they're ridiculously like obviously Fike, James and Rian are in great nick as well, but like Ivan, Fike, and Lex are just different,
Another level, different
next
gravy.
level. So like you've got those blokes on the one side, and then James and Rian who are unbelievably smart, and I'm just like,
Where do I fit in?
yeah, I felt super insecure. I was like, oh my word, like fucking hell, I need to learn like quick. I need to be smarter, and I also need to look fucking nuts. So it was this huge push of, and my first few months there was hard for me. I remember being like putting on my athletic club t-shirt and it just didn't fit nice and like didn't feel good. And then Rian and James tell me talking about this different type of training. I was like, I don't have a clue about that. Yeah, but then over time, like you say, osmosis, you're kind of just like, right, I need to learn, I need to study, I need to fucking hit the gym. And I'm not as good as, but like I feel like I'm in a comfortable position now, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty smart now. I look fucking pretty good, and it'll be the same for you when you go there.
Yeah.
And you'll probably hear the boys on the decks, and or the girls. I don't know if there's
Yeah, no, there's plenty of girls there.
yeah, yeah.
They're fucking really good, lad.
And you'll be like, okay, and then you'll probably pick up loads of things as well because you'll be listening to them. Because I notice when you listen to music now or a set, you can't even enjoy it. Whereas like I'll hear a DJ set with you and I'll be like, nice. And you'll be like, he's mixed it. He's missed it. And I can see you listening differently. So it's like you've ruined it for yourself. Not in a bad way, but you're seeing it as more of a,
I'm trying to learn.
that's it. You're listening to like as if to study where I'm like,
Yeah.
so then when
Yeah.
you listen to them, you're like, oh, it's a nice transition or, sorry, I have no idea. Like the
No,
technical
you're
terms.
absolutely right. Yeah.
And then you'll probably hear a mix and you'll be like, oh, I can put these songs together because they did it then. Or like you hear like a sync or something and you'll be like, oh, I like that.
Even there's times where I'm like, like I listen to a song, I'm like, oh, I like that. But then you're like, well, how do I use that? Or maybe it's not good enough. And then you hear another DJ play and it like gives you validation. Oh no, you're like, I knew I was right. Not that there's right or wrong.
Yeah.
But that happens quite a bit as well. I'm like, fucking like that. I'm like, oh, do I like it? Do I not? How do I use it? What do I do with it? There you go. I used it. I was fucking on the right track.
So you were following the same path.
Oh yeah, somewhat. You're like,
Yeah.
this well-respected DJ also likes that music, which is obvious for like lots of tracks, but like maybe a slightly more obscure track or.
Yeah. So actually, this. What music do you like mixing the most? I know you have different genres because you have house, techno. So like I know you have your dance ones, you have hip hop. Which would you say is the most? What would you? Sorry. So what would you say was the easiest? What would you say was like the most trickiest to mix? And like what's the most enjoyable for you?
I think the answer's all the same, but to be honest, electronic music is the easiest to mix. There's no doubt about
Because
it.
of the beats per minute,
Yeah, and also
like the bass mix. Sorry, I should let you answer.
yeah, but no, but also it's like all of those things as well as there's long sections to mix over. You could have an 8-16 bar intro. So you got plenty of time to mix it. Was like if we're talking hip hop, like you need to mix fucking quick. You don't have the luxury, and you need to know the music inside out, and you need to know the bits where you don't want vocal crashing with vocal or clashing. Sorry, because you can hear two tracks at the same time. You can't hear two sets of words.
Oh, okay.
Or if it is one, it's got to be tiny little bit of noise.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love hip hop, and hip hop was my first love for sure. But house music, yeah, electronic music is the easiest. I'll tell you what is difficult is like trying to play with old music where it was recorded on instruments, and even though it's got a BPM, it's not like it was made on a computer.
Okay.
So it's not actually bang on the BPM when you're trying to loop stuff or whatever. So some of that stuff is harder to mix, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, it all comes down to skill level, but
Of course, yeah.
no, after going through this recent upskill and just trying to get more creative with it, you also recognize like when you go, you got to be a really good DJ, you've got to know the music inside out, and I'm not talking about just like, you know the lyrics or whatever. You need to like know almost to the second where like the lyrics come in. That bit's got no vocal. That bit has got like a certain instrumental element to it to like mix really well. If you want to get creative with it, it's easy to do long drawn out ones, but if you want to be a really good DJ, you need to know your songs inside out. And also recognizing now you don't. It's not about having 2 million songs or having 2,000 songs. It's about having like maybe 80 songs at a time and knowing them inside out.
So like what do you call it?
You create your library.
Crate, because they used to have vinyl, so you call
That's
it a
it,
crate
yeah.
now. Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you build a, as I'm going into this now, I'm probably going to have 60 to 70 tracks that like I'm in love with right now, and then you'll phase them in and phase them out. Like I love listening to Clapton because his sets are so high energy. You listen to his sets, he's got so many, there's lots of the sets are similar. He's fucking nowhere near changing set every time because you can't, and you just can't do that.
But he'll just like phase them in and
Yeah, and
like get them on different parts of the set and.
yeah, but also like you might still be playing songs that he was playing 3 or 4 months ago on the same set, and then sometimes they'll bring, like I watched a set earlier, and I heard a song in there that came out. When I checked, it came out in 2019. I've not heard of it ages. I've just brought it like to the front of my library again. I'm looking forward to playing it in a couple of weeks. So things like that happen as well. You like play lots of current music, and then they bring like maybe like a classic track or like a really good track from 3 or 4 years ago.
And then I'll hype the crowd.
But got me
also-
hyped. I forgot how
Like
good the song was.
The one thing you love is like for me, anyways, when you don't know what song's gonna come on. So like the spontaneity of it just like hypes you up even more. So if you bring back a song that you haven't heard for 4 years, that you probably haven't played for 4 years, but it was a banger when it came out, would absolutely lift you. Yeah.
I don't recommend. It's like I know it because I'm listening to this music all the time, but like I don't know if the crowd wouldn't even necessarily know it's an old song. Do you know what I mean? Unless they're real house music fans, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They would have. Lots of the people they're just in the club having a good time. Do you know what I mean?
They just need a bit of a bass die.
That's it. But so yeah. Well, yeah. To answer that question, that's like a belief I'm going through now. But I'm combating it by putting in the work.
Yeah, of course.
And getting more and more confident in my ability. Yeah, and then definitely going to bring my best performance to the Hong Kong Sevens.
Hell yeah.
Looking forward to it. It's nice not for it to be a secret this time as well. It all happened so late. It didn't happen late.
How many weeks? Notice?
6 weeks tomorrow it is. Oh wait.
Before the last one.
Well, no, it was a while. But
Oh, it was kind of like in the works, wasn't it?
it was in the works, but it was to do with the government and the restrictions and what was allowed and whatnot. So it was always kind of happening, but they also weren't sure if it could happen and whatnot. So, and then as far as like waiting to the announcement goes, I pretty much had to wait till a week out. Ish.
Yeah.
Partly because I didn't want to say it and then it not happen.
Oh yeah.
I could have possibly said it sooner, but
If it didn't come out.
if it didn't come off, I was just being gutted. Yeah. But no, I've now already been confirmed for Saturday morning.
Let's go.
Let's go indeed.
South Stand.
All
Will
right.
you be dressed as a French fry in the South Stand?
No, I don't know what I'm going to wear yet.
Yeah. Well, you were Baywatch.
I got a pretty cute message yesterday on Instagram from, I'm not going to say her name, but she's got an apparel brand, and she messaged me asking would I wear one of her t-shirts.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, sorry, I can't do that.
Unless there's something funky on it that goes with the outfit.
You paying me?
Yeah, yeah. Sponsored DJ
Well, that's
guy.
what it was pretty much, right? But no, I was like, sorry, I'm going to wear fancy dress. Very,
Yeah, you
very
kind of have to,
flattered
don't
by
you?
your offer,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I can't not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, your space cowboy outfit is so fucking good that
Good enough for it.
I'm not going to wear that. I can't do that. It's not original enough. However, I want to get something like similar, like full outfit, good accessories, and cool.
Well, you know you've got to play the song Space Cowboy.
Yeah, it's actually it's a wild outfit.
It's a wild outfit and a wild song. You got to play it. That'd be class.
We'll see.
Yeah, the remix though, the one that's from
Picked
the
my opening
90s.
song, ready to go. This is the last question I have on my piece of paper. 5 years from now, what do you think you'd wish you'd done more of? I do have another question. I'm scared this microphone's so close to you.
Sorry, Di.
Hopefully it's just so close to your chin.
Sorry, I talk rubbish, didn't I? Which chin?
Well, it could be any
6?
of the three.
Any of the 6? Oh, I'm not too sure about that, Di. 5 years from now, what do I wish I'd done more of?
Well, what do you think you'd wish you'd done more of?
Bench press? You're joking.
I've done bench for ages, like flat bench.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm not too sure.
That's not good enough, but
I'm not too sure. I'm doing loads at the moment that I'm trying to do. So, because I think I'd look back and go, well, I was doing a lot. So it's not like I wasn't just sitting on my ass, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Because I'm also, like, I'm pretty happy, like, things are going well.
I'm happy, like.
I am. I'm socialising a bit more, but I've socialised so much in my life, it's like, right, I need to curb that for a bit. Like, I'll go out and see people, but I want to travel a bit more, which I'll be doing. So I'm just railing off stuff now. I'm
Well,
not
no,
sure,
no.
yeah. I'm sorry, Di, I don't quite know. Sorry, everyone at home, but I don't know.
On the train.
On a train, yeah. What about you, Ben?
I don't really know either.
Yeah, see,
I mean,
I could say it's something I'm thinking about now. So in 5 years' time, what do I should say? It's probably talk to people more that I'm not in touch with now who live away. Because there's some people I probably haven't spoken to in a while who I see as a mate. And I'm like, wow, I haven't spoken to that person for a long time. So it's probably speak to more people or my closer mates that I haven't spoken to in a while who live in different countries.
well, Di, it's Men's Health Monday, a week Monday.
I'll probably give them a couple of message.
I don't know what same as you. I feel like I spent so much time partying and drinking that it certainly ain't that.
So I mean, I've done a bit of that.
I'm looking forward to socializing more through work, as in twice a month, Saturday night, out to party, but not party, out to work. But that'll be nice. Add into the calendar. Do you know what? It's probably, but it's easy to say that. It's like, do I wish I did a bit more on the weekends to have a bit of respite? And I think I will get there.
You need to die.
So the weekends are Monday or Sunday, doesn't matter what day of the week it is, to me, to be honest.
A day.
Yeah.
It's different because you own the business. or your own multiple. But it's like, even if it's a fucking Wednesday.
I've started doing less on a Friday morning, to be honest. That's kind of taken that. I have. Like,
Well, I block out 2 hours on a Thursday, like.
wow, that's a little bit of a lie. I was in here at fucking 5:30 this morning. Yeah. And then, okay, I was thinking about this over the last few days, and it's not that, like, again, and it's not me preaching at all. I don't even know where the question came from. My question to myself was, is there anything more important in life than your health? Before you answer,
I've already thought about multiple different things going on in my head.
okay.
Because first instinct would be for you to say family, but how
Yeah.
can you look after your family if you're not healthy?
That's it.
Um,
But also, there's arguably nothing more important to me than your health.
I agree,
Yeah.
but like, if I'm not healthy, then I won't see her.
Yeah.
I won't see Mum, I won't see Amelia, I won't see Caroline. Like, I won't. So it's like, no, it's game over. It's literally game over. On to the next chapter. But at the same time, if I would sacrifice myself as people I love, then I would, so then my health's not as important.
Sorry?
So, like, say if I had to save someone I love's life by giving up my life, then my life's not as important, or my health.
No. Yeah, but I think that's...
No, but I'm
yeah.
trying to, like, different, like, variables or different things, but nah, health is key.
Well, I was just trying to think about it. I don't think there is anything more important than it, but it's one of those things that it's a long-term mindset. And, you know, there's no way, like lots of things in life, people only worry about them when they're in an urgent or desperate situation. It's like, doesn't matter how much, don't want to just say money, but whatever you've got in the world that you want, if you're sick, you change it all for your health.
You give everything up.
And I was just thinking about how it is
So Dame Dash said on
neglected by
the Diaries of Hero.
so many people, that would just...
But also, I think you like sacrifice your health for all those things, or some people do anyway.
No, almost everyone, not
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
everyone. The majority of people do not even prioritize. It's almost like avoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my question to myself the last few days. To me, I've on my my life force statement, I've got the top belief on mine says health equals your life.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I don't. It's not like I'm like the healthiest person in the world, but it is a priority for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people often neglect it, like you said. But it's like, it's not that it's boring. It's like,
It is. There's no fun in it as well.
that's what I was thinking. Like, there's not. Yeah, like, by doing stuff like drinking and other things, it makes things fun. And you do have a bit more of a laugh. So it's like, you trade off sometimes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as I said, I'm not sitting here as some guru. I was just trying to think,
Yeah,
like, I
that's
don't
what I
even know
mean.
where the
You just
question
goofy,
came
just
from.
spitballing about it, but yeah, it's nuts. Like, I don't know. But remember, you said you met Thomas Castaneda,
Yeah,
and he didn't drink wine,
yeah.
and he now drinks wine, but like, he's looked after himself so well that he can go out and have a couple of glasses of wine and get like quite drunk, but like, his body's probably an unbelievable, Nick.
Yeah.
Because he didn't blast it as a youngster. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, at some point, he's
All those stories you were talking about earlier, but I ruined those through drinking. I don't remember those stories through blasting my brain cells.
So that box of goon.
Fuck me.
Yeah, that box of wine was nuts, huh? Yeah, but like, now he he can probably have like 6 glasses of wine, get quite drunk or whatever. But like, I'm not saying he can do that all the time now and binge drink, but he's looked after himself so well, and it's like, yeah, have a bit of fun towards like later stages of his life or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, still love a pint.
I love a pint. Yeah. Also, I was telling you, or when we were talking about, I was speaking to Mike about us telling people that we don't drink and stuff. And it's often as well. Remember you said that you'd be like, oh, right, sorry. Oh, right. Oh, he's probably done stuff. Or like he's a bit nuts because he doesn't drink or whatever. But half the time when Mike said that, I was like, oh my God, so many people have said that. It's like half the time people go, yeah, I'm thinking about stopping as well. Or like they'll be like, yeah, I should probably stop. Like loads of people have said that to me as well, where I think other people are like, oh, he's probably onto something, yeah.
That happened to me last week, fella. I went to that networking drink or whatever, and I met this really lovely fella. He was a fighter pilot.
Ooh.
He was an actual fighter pilot.
Now that's up there with one of like badass jobs
Yeah.
and like special character.
He's former fighter pilot, and wants to go work in the Formula One. He's got this plan, and he's trying to make contacts and whatnot. He believes that the way they communicate in the Air Force in these situations is far more efficient and constructive than the way they communicate in Formula One. Because you can hear all of these conversations and stuff now as well, and he's talking about how, but they do make lots of errors in Formula One as well through communication. This is all his chat, not mine, by the way. Anyway, met him, and he was telling me about this book he's writing as well, and it's on high performance because he comes from this background. And then we're at this networking drinks thing, and he's the guy's like who's organising. He's like, "What do you want?" And his name's Jason. He's a fighter pilot. He goes, "I love a Negroni," and I was like, "I'll get a lime soda, please." And he goes, "Oh, I probably better do that."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he did. I wasn't judgment. I don't give a fuck.
No, of course.
And he then went and told the barmaid, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I think they ordered a Negroni." They're like, "Don't give me a Negroni, give me a lime soda." But I'm telling you now, he only did it because I did it. Yeah, whatever. I don't, you know. I think it was because he'd come in, delivered this message to me. And again, there's no reason why you can't have a Negroni.
Yeah, of course.
But I felt like that's what it was. He
was like, oh,
I'm letting myself down here. This guy who's 15 years younger than me is having a lime soda, and I'm having a Negroni, and I'm the high performance guy. He made that story up in his head, not me, but
yeah,
that happened. Yeah,
that's class.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought I brought it up because we talked about it last week. But me and Mike were making the point that everyone else, or like a lot of people, have gone, I should probably do the same.
What mic is up?
Denmark.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Denny Crane.
Fucking tidy. All right, Di, we made it to episode 004.5.
True, and a little story about Dad.
Oh yeah, fuck! How did I forget that? Your turn.
Here
we go.
And I have to tell the one, Di, I'm sorry, about the cleaning the house. I have to. It's my favourite story, and Dad will probably be like, I can't believe you've said that. But, so...
Dad won't be like that. Mum will be.
Don't worry about it, Mum. So, when we were younger, it's my favourite story of all time. I'm obviously 4 years younger than Ben. How old were we? Were we about 18?
Yeah, 17.
17, 18. So I must have been about 13, 14. Ben's having a girlfriend come over the house, and new girl or whatever. So then Ben's told us, right, this girl's coming over, girlfriend's coming over, this, that, and the other. And he's in his room.
I will also say, I don't know if it's I had one girlfriend for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it was probably just the first time she was allowed to sleep over. That's
first time she's allowed to sleep
That's
over.
what I think it was, as opposed to it being a new girlfriend. I think it was more just the case of the first time
sleep over.
something like that. Yeah.
So first time I allowed to sleep over, and I haven't seen Ben for hours, and like he's up and down the stairs then, and he's taking black bags, or he's just like sorting stuff out, and and I'm like, Dad, what's happening with Ben? And he's like, he's cleaning his room big time. And I mean, Ben was like everywhere in the house. He was cleaning so many different areas. And I was like,
I was also, at that point, fucking messy.
yeah, but like you were cleaning everything.
No, what I mean was, this was out the ordinary for me.
Yeah.
Like, I had I'm pretty tidy now. I was fucking not tidy back then. So for me, to your point,
yeah.
this was like, is he all right?
Yeah. And I remember Ben was just absolutely cleaning his room, spotless. I mean, taking the bins out, everything, vacuuming, like wiping things down. And I was like, oh, yeah, Ben's been cleaning his room for ages. And my father looks at me and goes, amazing, what a bit of fan he'll do. And I remember it's like and I burst out laughing, and Dad was absolutely hysterical too, and the both of us are just laughing our heads off in the kitchen, and it's just one of those moments that's always stuck out for me for like Dad, just like perfect timing and yeah.
For some people that may have recently heard that joke, I told it at a speech
Oh yeah,
a few
sorry,
weeks
I didn't
ago.
think of that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I changed the names. I took the story. It was your idea, actually. I took the story and changed the names of people here in Hong Kong to make it a bit more relevant or topical. But yeah, the joke is the true story, and it's from it's
Unbelievable.
about me.
Unbelievable punchline. Yeah. And then I remember telling you, and I remember you absolutely dying as well, like just laughing.
It's a golden story.
Yeah. I don't think Mum's heard it.
I don't know. She has now.
Mum heard it. It's amazing.
Roy Kinnear's heard it as well.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I got a bunch of other ones about Dad, but that's one of my favourites, I think.
Legend. Well, Mr. Fry,
Thank you, Stephen.
French fry guy.
Stephen Fry. Pleasure, sir.
Lovely.
See you again next week.
Lovely.
Catch up.
Lovely.